Hi, Scott Lackman from 4510 TV. Here with me today, Theo, CEO of Unitywater. G'day, George.
Hello, Scott.
Now, you might recall, viewers, in 2013 I headed up an awareness challenge to raise awareness about domestic violence in our region, and George was good enough to grab the baton. And this year, 2014, he's running the challenge race on behalf of Australia's CEO Challenge, putting the awareness of domestic violence out through the workplace. George, so far in 2014, can we tell the viewers firstly your position with Unitywater, but then what you're looking to introduce through this campaign again this year?
Look, as I said, I think earlier when we met, Scott, as a leader within Unitywater, I think it's incumbent upon myself to do everything that I can to lift the awareness levels with respect to domestic violence, and more importantly, do whatever we can to try and eradicate it.
George, off the camera, we talked a bit personally. Maybe let's tell the viewers where this begins. For you growing up, did you experience violence in the family home?
Look, I think probably one of the lucky ones where I grew up in a really loving family. Mum and Dad were wonderful, did not know anything about domestic violence, and I was oblivious to it. But, as you get older and, you get a little bit wiser, you start to realise as you're flicking through the newspapers that, the world isn't as you knew it as a kid, and domestic violence exists and people are getting hurt. And, I was really disappointed to read in the media constantly that, people were doing terrible things to each other. Yeah. So from my perspective, and being the father of teenage daughters, you sit back and you reflect and you think to yourself, what sort of relationships are they going to be in? So I guess personally I want to do everything that I can to make make the world a better place in my own small way, and that is, if I can do anything to inform people about how to prevent domestic violence, or should they be subject to domestic violence, more importantly, where they could go and get some assistance.
Yeah, excellent. And through your organisation, we've talked previously, out of, say, 800 employees, roughly half are women in your employment.
Right. Yep.
And you really sent a clear message that you want to be the support person through your network and Unitywater to provide maybe an outlet that if you did have a staff member affected by violence, that they can be comfortable and reassured that if they did approach someone in management through Unitywater, there'd be support there for them.
Absolutely. Look, while we're a business, at the end of the day, we're also a family, and we need to be able to support each other during our hour of need. And I think, there is nothing more demoralising and disappointing if an organisation as large as ours does not have in place mechanisms and checks and balances to make sure that if one of our employees is going through a tough time, they know that through confidence and confidentiality, they can go and seek support. And we're really keen to make sure that support is available. And one of the things I want to do is to also make contact with the other senior leaders in the water industry around southeast Queensland and also Australia, and work with them and ask them to embrace the Australian CEO's Challenge and allow us into their organisations to talk about domestic violence and how we can prevent it and how we can deal with it, because it is a cancer. It's one of those things people don't want to talk about. It's not something you want to talk about at the dinner table, but it's out there, and I think we need to talk about it and we need to do away with it.
Yeah, the awareness, the possibilities are endless if you're now talking about reaching out to your colleagues in the water industry nationally.
Yeah.
Be great if you could achieve that, George.
Yeah, look, that's certainly what I'm aiming to do. So, I've set myself a target, or I should say my team have set me a target to try and lift the awareness levels with respect to domestic violence to about 200,000 people. So we've got a series of events planned over the next 6 months. And as well as, trying to tap into about 200,000 people.
Wow.
Also raise some funds, and, we're going to try and raise about $15,000 in the process. We might have to reset that target because we had an event, Scott, just last week.
Yes. Yep.
And we were able to raise $5,000, which was fantastic.
Oh, what a great kickstart to the 2014 campaign. Tell us what that event was. It was just last week?
It was last week, Australia CEO's Challenge. What we did was we had our annual safety launch, where we invite staff and suppliers who support us. And it's a trivia quiz event. 100 questions get asked, and 8 rounds. We had our suppliers sponsor rounds. We also had staff buy raffle tickets.
Okay.
And there was prizes for first, second and third. But it's about lifting people's awareness with respect to safety at home and in the workplace, and also lifting people's awareness with respect to domestic violence. So 130 odd people had a lot of fun over a couple of hours, and people learned something new, and we were able to raise money for the cause as well.
5,000 in the kitty to get going.
Yep.
George, what I did pledge to you last year is that I'll continue to support you through this challenge this year. For the viewers, more details will be found on our website for the Australia's Theo Challenge and George Theo taking part in that. And we'll also list the events that you've got coming up publicly over the next 6 months. So if you're out there in the community, you want to get involved and support George on his quest to raise awareness about domestic violence, please do so. George, for the interview today, could we finish on just again your thoughts moving into the future? If you spread your awareness through your colleagues in the water industry, perhaps you could put an invite out on the camera to fellow CEOs? Yeah,
look, an invitation to all the CEOs out there in the water industry. You know me, I know you. We're only a phone call away. I'll be writing to you very shortly and putting it very clearly and bluntly to you that your support is imperative. If we're going to eradicate this this issue from our community, then we all need to band together, and with each other's support, we should be able to do as much as we can to, as I said before, prevent domestic violence at home, which is, predominantly, as we know, aimed at women and children. And over Easter this year, when I was in Melbourne, I read Scott, and I was really, it was just terrible. I read that, a father killed two of his young daughters under the age of 8, and in Sunshine in the western suburbs of Melbourne, a husband killed his wife at the shopping centre, stabbed her in the street. Just terrible things, and they should not be happening in Australia. So let's see what we can do to make it go away.
Lovely. George Theo, CEO of Unitywater, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Scott.
And congratulations on the 2014 Challenge, Australia's CEO Challenge, and commend you once again on your efforts in raising awareness about domestic violence.
Thank you.